Hi, this is Christy from Life Struggles, and today I have the honor and the pleasure to interview Joseph Lopez. He is the writer of Sounds Unheard, Songs of Home. So please help me in welcoming him. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It's such a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
for those of you who will be watching this on YouTube, I'm going to show you the book. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put it in the description where you can buy it on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
Is that the only place?
Amazon or a local bookstore in Sturgeon Bay, but
Okay,
Amazon would be the place for worldwide.
okay, okay. So, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, great. So why don't you tell us how this all started?
Um, I was an unintentional writer. It was me putting my life back together after a struggle with alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And I needed to sit with myself and pick myself apart and look at all of the bits and pieces and see what worked and what didn't. And I didn't know how to do that. So I just started writing
Were you
just
writing like a journal or just words?
random thoughts
Okay,
first, feelings and thoughts, not necessarily journal. Um, but then I just started, I put up to hold myself to task. I started an Instagram page in October of 2019 to hold myself accountable to me.
nice.
Um, so I put up just bits and pieces there
Okay,
just to keep myself in check, to make sure
okay.
that I would do this.
So when these random thoughts, right?
Yeah,
They all have to do with where you live,
yes.
mostly, right?
Mostly it's my place, myself in where I live among the people that I live with.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do before you go on is in your words, describe Door County.
Door County is a magical place. I refer to it, and I have friends that refer to it as a vortex. It's a place that once you visit and you leave, there's no completely removing yourself from it.
Okay.
It sticks hard, and most people end up back here in some way. There's a strange pull because of the Lake Michigan and the bluffs and the natural beauty and the people here, and it's just not necessarily describable. It's a feeling that just draws people.
Okay. And so this is, you have history behind Door County, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
So
Um,
family history.
I have, yeah, long family history here. So I'm back to where my great grandparents are buried, so I feel good here. It feels home.
Home.
It feels like home.
So
Yeah.
do you feel like you'll never ever live any place else?
I don't think I could fully live anywhere else at
Nice,
this point.
nice. Okay. So what about like what it looks like? So
It's
what I'm hearing is a description of how it feels. And I agree, except I don't live there. Vacation there.
yes, yes. There's shoreline, there's woods, there is the bluffs. It's just filled with natural beauty.
In the summer and the winter.
Summer and winter. Winters can be harsh,
They're harsh, yeah.
but the beauty is there, and you have to go out into it, but it's there.
Okay, so going on back to, and thank you for describing that. It sounds like a writer. So when did you think about becoming a writer? Or how did that all start?
Well, the book that inspired me was The House on Mango Street. Like, I don't know why in high school that just it struck me and it stuck. So I kind of was like, okay, this is something that I would like to do.
Okay, so
That I
I
could,
haven't read that book.
okay.
Can you
It's little
just give a
vignettes.
general?
Yeah, it's little vignettes of a life.
Okay,
It's nice short pieces. And that appealed to me,
okay.
and that just stuck. And so over the years, that was inside of me and it stuck. And it
Do
didn't
you
necessarily,
still have that book around?
I lent it out, and so I don't know who has it.
Oh, no.
Yes, that was many years ago. I said, here, read this. That happens to many books of mine. I lend it out and I never see them again, but I make sure I read them first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't
That
know
just,
if it's available for anybody to get or not even.
yeah. But that was just something that stuck and
Okay,
just held a place in me
okay.
over time. I didn't expect anything of it.
So then when did you become serious about it?
Serious with Instagram.
So as you were doing bits and pieces on Instagram.
As I was examining myself and my life in detail, it kind of grew and it felt right. Like that
Okay,
was the time it felt right for me.
okay. And so with, you brought up something that I wasn't even aware of. So you said you had some problems with alcohol, but did you have an addiction, or were you just going through a time period where you were drinking to hide feelings or make things better?
I had an addiction.
Okay, so then
Yeah, it wasn't
did you,
something that I could handle.
okay. And so what did you do for that?
For to handle it,
Well, for the addiction.
for the
Do
addiction,
you consider yourself in recovery?
yeah, I don't have any cravings.
Okay.
I have zero want to be there again.
Did you go somewhere for help, or did you do it on your own?
I did it with the help of friends. I have some friends that drew some very hard lines,
Okay.
which I'm glad. And they said, you choose. This is what's going on. And it's been longer than 6 years, but it was 6 years of where it was deep
Okay.
and bothersome and noticeable.
Okay.
And I was unproductive and hurtful to people and unaware of that. And they were good enough to say, we still want to be in your life, but here's the line.
Did they drink too?
Yes, but not like me.
But do you still have friendships with them?
Yes.
And you can be around drinking and not drink?
Yes. And not want it. I don't want it. I don't crave it. I don't want to
So
be
you know
there
what
again.
that tells me? That tells me that you don't have the gene of addiction actually in you. That doesn't mean that you don't become addicted to something.
Yeah.
But if you have the actual gene of addiction, it can be like my family has addiction, period, in their genes. And there's some drug addicts, there's some alcoholics. Mine's chocolate. And people make fun of me about that and say, wow, what a thing to be addicted to. However, health-wise, it can be very addicting because we also have high cholesterol in our family,
Yeah.
and diabetes. So but seriously, I mean, you might have even seen one of my reels when I cheated that was the night that I was having a discussion, and I had to do that.
Yeah.
But so I have to try to keep what I'm addicted to out of the way. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But I could, if I wasn't like mentally a mess, I could sit around and go, I don't even want one of those.
Yeah.
But so in your case, you can sit around with people drinking and you have no desire to drink whatsoever.
I have no desire for it.
So what happens if they get stupid drunk?
It annoys me because
Exactly.
it is so annoying because I'm sober.
Right.
I can
Exactly.
see what it does to people, which helps me not want to be in that place.
That knowing that I had so much addiction on my side of the family, I didn't even want to try alcohol, and I certainly didn't want to try drugs. I was afraid of drugs. I was a chicken. So I guess that's a good thing.
Me too
But
for that. That scares the hell out of me.
I mean, it really, I'm afraid of them. And but with the alcohol, I just watched it destroy so many lives and so many relationships and jobs, everything.
Yeah.
And I thought, why would I even want to attempt it? And then the other thing is, so when I was old enough to drink, and like, well, in my age, the drinking age was 19 then. The year I
Right.
turned 19, in the middle of that year, they changed it to 21. But those who were already 19 could. So I could still go to the bars in college and with friends.
Okay.
I was always the one that was the driver. If we drove, most of the time it was walking over, but whatever. But I was always, and I had fun until they got stupid drunk.
Yeah.
They were funny at first, but then when they got stupid drunk, and some, everybody reacts different, but some of them got mean drunk, loud, and it was very annoying to me.
It gets annoying. It gets old quick.
Yeah.
Watching it.
And so, and I would tell them like the next day, because they were like, why'd you want to leave so early? Well, because you guys got drunk early and it wasn't any fun for me anymore.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know? So why don't you just go slow till the end of the night if you want to last longer? Because I can't handle it. I tried walking away, but when you're in a bar, just about everybody ends up being drunk.
Everybody gets drunk and stupid. Yes.
So I can't last very long. Anyway, so to me, that means it's not actually hereditary. Unless it is, but you've got something else that maybe is.
I kind of think it is because on my dad's side of the family, there is like a whole line of addiction.
Okay.
So I kind of think it is, but I don't want to be there. I don't feel it.
Which
Like
is good. Yeah.
it shut off where I just don't have a desire at all.
So do
Watching
you
that.
think then, okay, so they put boundaries on you is what they did, right?
Yeah,
Gave you
hard
choice.
lines.
So
And I'm
it's
so
called tough
grateful.
love. Tough
Yes.
love.
I am
And that's
so grateful.
fantastic. So it doesn't sound like they probably had an addiction problem, because the
No,
people,
not like me. No.
no. Yeah, because like there was some people around me that, and I think it's rude, but that's not very nice of me to say, probably because they don't even realize they're doing it. But when, they would come up and say, come on, have a shot with me. And I'm like, I don't drink.
Yeah.
But I was satisfied with having a ginger ale or water or orange juice. And sometimes I had them like take orange juice and mix some grenadine
There's a
in it.
lot of great mocktails
There
around.
really is.
There really is.
And I was fine with that. And usually if I did that, somebody wouldn't say, can I buy you a drink? But if they saw me
Yeah.
drinking water or ginger ale, because ginger ale, a lot of times, when you're in a bar, it's dark, so it looks like water anyway.
Yep.
But people wanted me to drink, and
They
they wouldn't
do.
accept I don't drink. Oh, come on, you can just have one. I
Just
didn't have a
one. Yeah.
problem. I just didn't want to have a problem ever. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I didn't want to put
I
myself
get
there.
that.
And so do you ever have, when you're in a bar with one of your friends, do you ever have a stranger like try to get you to have a drink?
If anyone does, I say I don't drink, and most people leave it alone.
Well, that's nice because they don't leave me alone.
Most people will leave it, or they'll say, "Then can I get your root beer?" They'll
Well, that's
change.
nice.
They won't keep pushing the drink thing. They'll say, "Can I get you a root beer or can I get you a ginger ale?" Like they will change the thing, and I will say, "Yes, thank you."
Well, that's nice. That's good. But
Yeah,
it's not normal.
yeah.
It's the nice people you have around you because it's not
I'm
normal.
glad. I'm lucky.
Especially people that are like far gone and they're drinking that night. They
Yeah,
really, really want everybody to drink with them.
yeah.
They don't
I'm
they don't even hear you, they don't even hear what you're saying. But okay, so that's good. You had friends that made you be they used tough love and gave you boundaries, and you still have to take the credit though, because you could have walked away and said, screw you, you know.
I thought about that. Of course, there's times where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just run away. I'm gonna run away from everything.
Mhm.
And whether I fall back into it or not, I'm gonna just be away from everybody.
So how many years have you been sober then?
It'll be 3.
Be 3. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on that. And so in this recovery is when you decide to start writing.
Yeah.
Was
Is
it because of that though, or just
that pushed
everything?
me to start examining myself.
Okay. Okay.
The pandemic helped too.
Of course.
That bought people time. That bought me time.
I was going to ask you that
Well,
because that's when the pandemic started spreading everywhere. So I was going to ask you that.
yeah.
So that's something that I would like people to look at the positive part of the pandemic, especially when, well, right now I think we're going to get our town's going to get shut down again, probably um, from our mayor. So not from the governor, not the state, but um, I think there's a lot of pissed off people out there because they're forced to stay home, and because they can't go certain places, and they have to wear masks and all the things. They don't like being told what to do. Um, but I think, like when we were shut down the first time, so I think ours was 2020, maybe March of 2020. So, all the kids had to be home from school, the colleges, everything. And you could not go anywhere. There was nothing that was opened whatsoever. They mandated even going to parks, so it was basically stay in your home. And what we did was try to stay on a normal schedule. So still get up at the same time every day, still go to bed at the same time every night. Obviously wasn't going to leave and go to work. I did do some work from at home. I actually my son started doing TikToks with his friends that he couldn't be with, but on
Okay.
FaceTime. And I don't know who knew how to record it with all 3 of them. I have no idea. But then they decided which was a good idea, like they needed fresh air once in a while. So there was a huge park, maybe 5-6 blocks from us, that had 3 football fields on it and 2 soccer fields on it. And so a lot of space and a huge parking lot. And so they all took their cars and met there, but they were 6 parking spaces between each other in a circle where, and
Yeah.
and they would talk just so they were getting air. And
Yeah.
then they would do a TikTok. And so he started like showing me his TikToks. And then he said, you ought to do some with me. So I started doing some with him. And then I started getting on TikTok, and I actually got, I think I have like 50,000 followers, but started doing lives and actually getting paid for it.
Yeah. Like it forced a lot of people to be creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
It did. They had
Um,
time.
and that's where I got my idea of podcasting then. So, but it was later on. So I did almost a year of TikToking, and I went live every night. So I joined with these 4 other TikTokers. They were huge. And
Okay.
like they would have one, when one was getting finished, they would say, now go to, and then, so we had scheduled hours.
Very
And we
cool.
actually did very big events of meeting TikTokers. Um, of places that we could get in, but we did, so like one get together was in Gatlinburg, and we raised funds over TikTok for the children's hospital there. It was,
That's awesome.
yeah. And then, so that was our first meet and greet, but it was all to raise funds for this
Yeah.
place. And we still had to have our distancing, and there could only be 50 people, but we had to have our distancing, and and our masks and all that. But it was fun. And then we just started traveling at different places that we could do that to, and
Yeah.
meet bigger TikTokers. So it was kind of a fun thing.
Yeah. And yeah, the pandemic did give people the time, but then also the boredom, some of us,
Both,
to
both.
to be creative, to think of something to do. And then how do we do it? How do we do it with each other without being together? Like how do you impact somebody without being there? You
FaceTime.
know, FaceTime, writing, like all it's TikTok, like all of this. It's connecting when we can't physically be together.
Right. And I think that, so it looks like you got something positive out of it. And that's what, I started seeing where people weren't even recognizing that families were actually eating together.
Yes.
They were like playing games together. They were spending family quality time that they weren't doing before.
Yes.
So I try to make a good thing out of it. I mean, I didn't like the part of people getting really sick and people dying and stuff, of course. And I think for the majority part, you can stay safe if you follow what you should.
Yeah.
And
But it was an opportunity.
my belief is wash those hands,
Yes, absolutely.
and I don't see them doing that. I don't even see them mandating that. They mandate the mask, which is protecting somebody else if you're coughing or sneezing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're touching. If you think about it, you go into a big store and all the things you're touching, people have touched. And and then we'll go back into your story. This is the one thing that I preach to everybody that you're not thinking about, is how many times in a half hour do we touch our face?
Yes.
You don't even
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
And so you've touched all these things that somebody else has touched. And, I do this a lot.
Everybody does the,
Yeah,
small,
right.
small things.
Got something in the corner of your eyes. Oops,
Yes.
there it goes.
Yes.
But why are they not mandating that when you walk in the door, you have to sanitize?
All of
And
like
when you leave,
we need to care for each other in these simple ways. And it
right.
is small, simple things that that
So
shows that
thank you, COVID, for giving me where I'm at today. And thank COVID that you are where you are today,
yeah,
partly.
there's blessing and opportunity in the worst shit,
There
there
is.
is. There really is.
You have to find it though.
You have to
And I
find it. And
think you have,
not everybody finds it, and not everybody could sit still and get to know themselves.
Right.
I still have friends that they did not, they missed that opportunity. They didn't sit still with themselves to get to know
That's too
themselves.
bad.
I'm just
But some people
grateful.
are afraid to get to know themselves,
Some
you
people
know?
are very afraid. I was,
So how do you think
but
you got through that fear?
by
By
doing
your
it,
writing?
by doing it, yes, by going inside and just examining all of the ugly bits and pieces, all of the good pieces and all of the ugly pieces, by just bit by bit, everything.
And that could be scary too.
It is scary. It was scary.
So what did you do for that?
You write it out.
Okay.
You
And you know
write it
what?
out.
I
But
think
you
that,
don't keep the things that don't serve. You recognize, you begin by doing this, you begin to see how you affected yourself, how you affected other people, like with each small thing. And then it slowly turns into like, then you're like, oh my God, I get it.
right.
I get it.
You get it.
I'm not as great as I thought I was. I'm kind of shitty. And I'm gonna put that shitty me over here and like work on it and keep the good, like it's work.
So if you wrote something shitty about yourself, did you save it?
It's all out there. It is all
Do I have
out
here
there.
on my list one of the shitty things?
Um, you'd
I
have to
don't
go back
remember
to the
that.
beginning. You'd have to go back to the beginning of my Instagram, but the very first piece is about doing a self-autopsy.
Oh, oh,
That's my first piece that I ever put on Instagram is
but it's not in my list that I have.
it's not in anybody's list. It's the first piece that I ever put out.
Do
And
I have,
and that's
do
the
I have
one
to go
piece that
look?
I'm gonna leave. I'm leaving that very first piece.
Can, are you on a computer or are you on a phone?
I'm on a computer.
Do you have your phone sitting there?
I do.
Can you read it to me?
It's so short. I'd
It's
have to
okay.
scroll back.
It's
I have
okay.
over eight.
This is
I have
interesting.
I have over 800
Oh, gosh.
um, pieces, so I'd have to scroll back a while.
But you
So
said
maybe
it
I
was
won't
your
do that right
first.
now. Yeah.
So,
So
so wouldn't you just go all the way to the bottom to your first?
yeah, but I'd have to scroll and scroll and scroll.
Oh,
It's just
okay. While I'm
it's a
scrolling,
longer piece. It turned out to be a longer piece, but I left just one phrase of it on there.
well, do you kind of remember what it said?
It's just about doing a self-autopsy. That's it. That is
But is
like
so in a self autopsy, is that cleaning yourself out
it's cutting yourself open and pulling
and
everything
pulling
out to
everything
see
out?
what's wrong. Where did you go wrong?
Cool.
You have to cut
It's
yourself
kind of
open and
cool.
dig. Like I wrote it, it's a long piece that
Okay.
is not posted.
Okay. Well, that's it's kind of cool. I mean, it sounds bad, kind of, when you say I did a self autopsy, but then when you think about it,
It's kind of necessary though. Like
yeah, yeah.
other people can tell you what's wrong, but if you don't go and examine it yourself, you can brush that off.
Okay. Well, you're probably not going to accept this compliment, but you need to. So, number one, like I said before, even though your friends gave you choices and used tough love, you still had that final say so. That's number one. Number two, you could be doing an autopsy on yourself and go to the negative side and go, ooh, I've got a lot of bad things, and become depressed over that, you know?
Sure.
But you didn't do that. You use that as, okay, well, these are the things I need to change. Is that what you did,
Yeah, it
basically?
was, yes.
Okay, so that also is another strong point. And it's very hard for people to do that. So you must have,
It's extremely difficult.
but you did it.
And it's dirty work and it's extremely difficult. And there's a lot of little pieces to look at, and they go and affect everything everywhere in your life.
So if you found something bad and you were going, ew, and it started making you feel bad, what did you do to relieve that?
You name it, and you look at the web of connections as to, like, was this resentment, and how did that, was it toward this person, was it toward this group of people, was it because, there's so many little spider webs that come out of it, and so you have to deal with each one, and you have to follow them to every direction that they lead, but you have to name them and follow them and deal.
So let me
And
ask you
try
this.
hard not to get depressed, because it is depressing, and I'm a
I,
Capricorn, so I could sit in the dark and be happy. Depressed in the dark, that's my natural tendency to be.
that would
I
be
can be
hard.
alone in the dark in depression and be happy. But so for me not to do that is huge.
That's interesting because my dad was an alcoholic and he was a Capricorn, but he had the best personality. He really did. And really he didn't become an alcoholic until my mom filed for divorce and it upturned all of our lives.
I've had other Capricorn friends that have struggled with alcohol and didn't turn to that until later, until like something happened in their
Right.
life, you know?
So, and I don't know if that has anything to do with Capricorns, but part of personality.
Yes.
So, um, so that's when you started writing. What did you do before you were writing?
Well, I own a farm and 20 acres and grow everything for the local community.
Or do you grow organic or not?
Organic,
Yay.
yes, and a farm stand on site and CSA boxes. And so that's like my whole thing in life growing up since little, is to honor and respect the
Yeah.
land. That comes from both sides of the family.
Okay.
So that's ingrained in me, that without the land, like, that's where we come from, that's where we're going to return to. It feeds us, it nurtures us, but we have to do the same to it. Like, we
I
have to
agree.
perpetuate, its continuance.
I agree.
So nature that's vital to my survival, that's vital to my emotional, mental, spiritual state. So I'm in a good place, the county I'm in, surrounded by everything, but then also to be so connected to the land, like
Right.
to
Right.
have to breathe in, just literally breathe in the soil.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So was your farm your source of income?
Not, no. Also I have a business that runs people's households for them. It's a cleaning business, but also an estate management business. So cleaning, taking your car to and from the airport, grocery shopping, whatever you need, we'll do it.
What is that called?
Mr. Sparkle.
Oh,
Yeah. And the farm is Robin's Nest Farm. So one is to
Robin's Nest.
survive, and one is, pays for, the farm isn't in the red at all, but you need an income to feed the passion.
So do you feel like the farm is kind of a passion for you too?
The farm is the passion, definitely.
But so is the writing.
But that's where also the writing stems out of, is the nature and the connected to the soil and all of that. Like everything, all of that goes into the writing.
Right.
Like,
So,
that's a vital component to it.
okay, well, where did the painting come in? Tell us about that.
The painting,
When did
I
that
used to,
happen?
I was a painter for a few years. Um, it started out me being little and being just jealous of my sister because she was just good at everything she did. She was painting. So of course I wanted to be a painter.
Okay.
And then, so I just played around with that for years, never did anything with it. But then in
But you
high
were good,
school,
apparently.
I got good
Okay.
by being consistent.
Okay.
Um, but in high school, my art teacher and I hated each other, didn't get along, not going to happen, failed art. So while I'm failing art, I'm out selling in the
How do
world.
you fail art?
I didn't do anything.
Okay. Because you didn't want to, or were you,
We didn't get along.
so you
I
just
had
didn't?
no desire to be in that class.
Okay. You're not allowed to be that way.
I did not like the man. That's okay.
Oh my goodness. It just reminds me of so my mom was a English professor, and I used to, bef- when I was like in high school, help her grade essays. So she taught me exactly what she was looking for. And so, I mean, because she was, college professor for two colleges. One was a junior college and one was a university. So she had a lot of papers to grade. And so that's what I did. And of course, she had to teach me what I was looking for and so on and so forth. And so when I got into college, and anybody that's getting just any college degree knows that they have to take English 110, which is composition.
Yep.
No matter what you're going into, that is a prerequisite. And so, I'm like, well, this is going to be a breeze, right? My first paper, after I finished the draft, I had my mom read it. And she did, little corrections or whatever. She didn't tell me how to write it, but she did, just like circled stuff that she would say, what do you think about this? Something like
Yeah.
that. So I didn't cheat. But so, and those things I would change, whatever. And so then I handed that in, and my English teacher was all over it. Like everything was wrong with it. And she wanted all this revision done. And I didn't understand what she was looking for. I took it to my mom. I'm look at this. And she's like, I don't know what she's teaching here, but you're going to have to do what she wants or you're not going to pass it. So even if you don't understand her way of teaching, she said, that's not the way I would teach it. But that's what she's looking for. So
Yeah,
if you
she's
want to
looking
get
for
out of
something
that class, you got to do it. And that was so hard because then I had to take English 111 the next semester. And
Yeah.
of course, I had a different teacher and she was completely different. But she was like my mom's way had taught me. And I didn't have any problem with that. But I struggled with that first one. And I didn't like her either, like you said. But I
Yeah.
had
And
my mom saying, too bad, you got to pass the class.
yeah. And I struggled in high school in art class, knowing I was good, knowing we didn't get along, that wasn't going to happen. So I would march into galleries with my paintings and just say, hey, this is me. What do you think?
Really?
Just bold, I would just march in there and be like, here's some, here I am. And it took off.
What kind of stuff did you paint?
They're big, bright, bold oil paintings.
But like
Slightly abstract, like some of the
abstract?
descriptions that people have said, it's interesting. The descriptions
Interesting.
are interesting. But they're big, bright, like slightly off skew, just
I now see, I would have guessed nature.
That was not the case.
But I would have guessed
Not
that
at the time.
just by
I
just
think
by what you've said about your background and stuff.
now would be nature, but then it wasn't. It was a lot of people and a lot of still lifes.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah.
And so you might have been able to go somewhere with that, but you chose not to.
Yeah, just I got busy with life and busy trying to make money, to survive. Like that would have, but also you need to survive. So day to day comes and like gives you not as much time to be creative as you want to be. So life took a different turn and that's okay.
And so here we are with this book. And how's it doing?
So far so good. I'm being approached in the grocery store and different places because it is so small here. People just like, hey, okay, reserve me a copy, put it in my mailbox, kind of a thing.
Oh,
Like
cool.
it's doing well. I'm sending it all over the world so far. I'm getting
Did you
requests for
um
signed copies.
you said you had a local bookstore there? Did you have a signing day?
Not yet.
Oh, you should do that.
We're working on
Are
things.
you?
It's still
Okay.
too cold here to do much.
Really? Too cold
Yeah, it's
to go
it's
inside
so
a bookstore?
no, nobody wants this. No, that's a summer, that's a spring or summer thing. Nobody wants to be anywhere right now.
Okay, well, you have to forgive me because I'm a Leo
Okay,
and I'm a sun child
okay.
and I hate winter. I love the beauty of snow. Okay. Fresh snow, Christmas, beautiful. Then it can go away. Then it can go away. I need the sun. I actually, even on cold days, which in the winter, if there's sun, it's actually colder. Did you know that?
Yes,
Okay. Well, a lot of people don't know that, but
yeah,
I still go out and put all the things on and have
I
to
go
have
out.
that sun, and that sun makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, there is vitamin K in it, and you do know that.
I totally understand that. Like I get it. Winter and I used to not be friends.
No, we're
No,
not.
that's why like the piece before this last piece I wrote on Instagram, it's about Winter and I we're gonna be okay together now.
You're going to be okay now.
I think we're friends now, kind of a thing.
Okay. But is
That
that
that took
because you can stay
years.
in?
I do go out, except when it's extremely bitter. I'm out there. And I love being out
Wonder if
there.
you're close. You're not that far from me, but probably about 5 hours.
Yeah,
But
not terribly far.
yeah, but so I think we might have the same kind of weather.
Probably.
Yours might be a little bit more drastic, but we've had like really windy for the past 2 weeks.
On the farm here, the wind does not stop.
Okay.
We're between the two bodies, the farm is between the two bodies of water, like directly. So
Ooh,
it's
you got the
it's
wind.
non it's
Okay, well, so
nonstop.
here it's been for the last 3 years windy all the time
Okay. I
in the
I get
summer
that.
and the winter. Where's
I
that
under
coming from?
I understand that fully.
I'm tired of wind. So me and the wind are enemies right now. Okay.
Well, you need to make peace.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So nature's everything to you.
Nature
That's
is
in chapter 14.
everything. Nature's everything.
Well, then you do have to make peace with everything.
You eventually you don't have to,
Well, if it's
but
everything to you, then obviously
but
you've made friends with
yes,
every one of
yes.
them. Is there any part of nature that you're not friends with?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm good now with all of it. Winter was not always the easiest friend to have.
Well, like bugs are nature, right?
Bugs are
Part of
nature.
nature.
I don't care. I don't mind.
You okay with snakes?
I'm okay with snakes. I don't love them. They're not my best friend, but I understand their
They all
beauty
have
and their
purposes.
space. Yes. They're not my best friend, I will not put it up to my face and
Thank
hug
you.
it, but I'm good with them.
Yeah, see, I got this little bit of a problem. Like, I'm not afraid of them. Like, I won't even tell the story. Everybody will crack up laughing. Plus, if somebody that knows my husband would hear it, they would make fun of him. So I'm not going to tell the story.
Okay.
But so I'm not afraid of them, but I certainly don't want to be bit by them or
Absolutely not.
strangled by them, right? So I'm going to protect myself from them. But I don't like go running and screaming. I kill them. I do. Well, we got these great
I-
black snakes that come out of the woods and they climb on the side of the house. I'm not going to let them. So out comes the hoe, and they don't even die quick.
They don't.
I get them in pieces and they're still moving,
Yeah.
but I don't run from them. Okay. And I would prefer, if I can, if I'm close enough, if they're starting to come in the yard, whatever, I get them out. I don't kill them. But if
You
they're
shush
going to
them
get in
out.
my house, I'm going to kill them. Okay.
I
I'm also
agree.
allergic to spiders, but they can't figure out which ones. So like
Okay.
I have to have my house sprayed every single month.
My father was quite allergic to spiders,
Like to where your throat would close up.
where he would get swollen and infected pretty bad.
Okay, so I get that plus my throat closes up. So I have to be very careful. And this is going to be kind of a fast story, but my daughter is totally a nature person, like everything, and save the world. Okay.
Yes.
I save the turtles and the elephants and the bees and the dogs and the cats, but a spider that can kill me with one little bite, I'm gonna crush.
Not your bestie.
I'm gonna crush. And so I'm sitting out visiting with her on the deck, and my chair was like up against the bar or the top ledge of the deck, and I see the spider web coming from her umbrella. And I went to get that down and she's like, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, there's one crawling down it. And she's
Yeah.
like, so it'll crawl down and it'll probably go along the ledge. And I said, or the ledge right by me and bite me. Right. So I go to knock it down anyway. And she's like, no, I'll take care of it. And so she takes it and she throws it out in the yard. Then she found a huge snake when she opened up her pool and she literally wrapped it up and walked it down to the creek and let it go. She showed this all over to everybody. This snake was huge. Didn't matter. I said, you're nuts. You're nuts. If it's that close to me, it's going to die. So I'm not friends with all of them.
Yeah. I understand their place and I let them be.
Okay, well, I understand their place. Just stay away from me if they're harmful to me. It's only if they're harmful to me. Well, why would I set myself up to die? I'm not gonna, if there's a spider on me, it's gonna die. It better choose not to. Okay, so we've got it. So you write a lot about nature. Everything
Yes.
has to do with Door County. In this,
In this book, yes, yeah, yes.
do you plan on writing another one?
I have 3 other ones in the works.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, how exciting.
Yeah, they're already, yeah, I don't stop. I'm not a person that can say, okay, this is done. No, I'm halfway
Well, this is going to
through
be your career.
another one. It is. It absolutely is. And
Oh,
it's
fantastic.
the unintended career. But it feels right. Yeah, no, I'm working on part 2 to this. I already have a title. It's halfway
Can you
written.
share or not? Not yet.
The title is The Lethargy of Fog,
Oh, wow.
but it's going to be a minute. But then
Okay,
I'm also collaborating with a few other people on 2 different styles of books.
really?
Yeah,
So not poems.
no.
Hints?
One is a children's book,
Okay.
and one might be poetry with photography. That's to be felt out yet.
That's interesting, a children's book. Do you have children?
No, but the friend that I am collaborating with does.
Okay. There's one of my, well, 2 of my favorite children books, and I think almost everybody knows about them almost, and you can still buy them. But the one is, I think it's called the Learning Tree.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I was looking for it because I thought it was
That
here.
sounds familiar.
Um, I thought I just saw it the other day, but it could be my office at home too. I have 2 offices. Well, anyway, it's about a tree that a little boy goes to. It's an apple tree to begin with. And so
Okay.
when he's little, he goes all by himself, and he goes to this tree and he talks to the tree. And he eats apples off the tree, and that's his tree is his friend. And that's where he goes to visit when he's lonely or anything. He talks to the tree. And as he gets older and he goes through his different stages of his life, he's not visiting the tree as much, and the tree's lonely. And
Okay.
it's so cool because the tree constantly offers him every time he comes to visit him, because he misses him. He offers him things because the little boy's telling him, well, now he's a teenager, then he's a man. And when he's a man, he wants, he's sad because he doesn't have enough money to buy a house. And so the tree says, well, you can cut down my limbs, well, he was cold one night. He said, you can cut down my limbs and build a fire. Then you can cut down my tree, down to all the way to the stump, and you can use it to build you a house. And so he always gave. It was a giving tree.
I like that idea.
And at the very end, the man was very, very old and feeble. And he came to the tree and he sat down on the stump, because that's all that was left. The tree gave him everything else. And he sat down on the stump, and the stump said to him, I missed you so much. What's wrong? And he said, I'm old and I'm feeble, and I don't know what to do. And he said, sit on my stump. And he said, I have nothing left to give you but my stump and my love. And it's so cool. It's so cool. And it's a lesson. It's really a lesson. I mean, it is a children's book, but, and I've read it to my kids, but I don't think
That's
like
a
for
lot.
little kids, because it's
Yeah,
pretty deep.
that is deep.
Mhm. But it's basically a lesson in, he just kept taking and taking and taking, and the tree kept giving because he loved him.
I
And
like that.
finally, at the end, the man had nothing left to take from the tree, but the tree didn't mind. He said, you can still sit here. It's just, he kept giving. It's really a good book. And then the other one is called Love You Forever.
Okay. I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
Okay, well, you'll have to look it up. But
I will
those
do that.
those are really 2 big ones. And the Love You Forever is a kind of along the same lines. It's about a father rocking from the time the little boy's a baby to sleep, and then the different stages of life. And then when the father becomes old and he's dying, then the son comes back and he picks him up and he holds him and he rocks him and he says, I love you now, I love you forever. So
Yes.
it's kind of the same concept.
I like that.
They're just teaching. To me, they're life lessons. So
I like that.
is that the kind of children's book you're going to write, or you're into writing, or?
Um, there it there's going to be lessons in there, but it's going to be it's a Christmas themed. Yes, that's all I'm going to say for now.
Okay. I love Christmas. That's like
Yeah,
my favorite.
that's that's coming down the line. So there's at least 3 things in
Do
the
you think
works
that one will be ready by next Christmas?
right now. Well, that's a goal,
That's a goal.
but that's a goal, but I'm not promising anything. My friend and I have to we have to work on that.
So we'll,
The bare bones are hashed out. We know where we want to go with it. And we just have to back and forth.
so will you have illustrations in it or not?
I think that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you could do them?
I don't know that I would have the time or,
Gotcha.
I think we would find somebody else to do that.
Okay. Will you keep us posted on that one?
You will definitely know.
And the other one, the other, well, you said two, you actually got three that you're working on. Is that what you
Well,
said?
there's 3, there's
Three in
one
the
is
making?
possibly photography and poetry. And if not, if that doesn't go through, then there's an alternative to that one. It's considerations, and it's just little bits, not poetry, but little things to think about,
Neat,
just little things to consider, whether it's
but not like
one sentence
inspirations.
or a paragraph or a mini essay on something like, here is something small to think about. Just think about this right now, kind of a thing. Just
But
this little,
is it inspirations?
kind of, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Neat. Okay, let's get back to sounds unheard, songs of time of home.
Yes.
So you tell me what was, do you have favorites, or you sent me this list. Are these your favorites?
Um, there's a lot of favorites in there.
I like the way this is broke down. You did a really good job of this. And there is a lot of favorites to me too. Because you kind of go, the way that you have it broke down, you can almost know what's in between.
Yes.
Do you understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I do, and that's kind of
What you
the
meant to do?
notes that I made to you. Yes.
Yeah, well, good job.
But human at ease is a place that that one is, I think, for me, vital.
Okay.
And I think, what page is that? Is that 69? Yes, page
69.
69.
Yep.
Yeah, just being at ease with myself for the first time in my life, fully, and loving me fully. Scars and strange hair and strange eyes and wrinkled hands and brown skin and all of it. Like, finally, finally, and fully. That, I think, is
So are those things that you all had problems with yourself, that you just said?
not problems, but not a full, deep love of
Well,
all of,
that's what I meant by that.
not necessarily a problem with it, with any of it, but
Well,
just like,
but
but to name it and
self-love.
touch it and look at it and love it,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, because most people don't do that.
So this isn't really all about you. It's about people in general.
It's people in general. It's like, there's things in here that everybody can relate to, but it's also my place, me finding my place in me and in the county and among my people here.
Okay. I got it.
But it's stuff everybody can relate to. and if it's a piece about nature, it also goes deeper than that. It's not just a piece about nature. Like a lot of the pieces, people tell me they have to read 3 or 4 times and then they're like, oh,
Now I get
one
it.
sentence. There's some pieces that are one sentence
Mhm.
that go way deep. Like sit and take one piece and just take it fully in before moving on.
Right. And that's why I said it would take me longer.
Yeah, it's
because
taking a
that's
lot of people, they're going, oh, I get it. I get this
right.
piece now.
Right.
It's
I
in
like it
there.
that I can just when I want to relax, open up and then read another chapter, and then I
Yeah.
can really, really dig into that and feel it. And that's why I was like, oh, I can't read it fast enough. That's not, you know what I'm
You
saying?
don't,
Because then I'm not going to.
it's not meant to be read fast.
Thank you. Thank you. So written for a friend. This is a piece about realizing our beauty. So did you actually write this for a friend?
Which are you referring?
That's in 88, chapter 88.
Okay, let me look at, hold on, I have the book here, 88. Yes, my poet friend in New Zealand, Greg.
Okay. Did he inspire
Yes.
you to write?
He does. We inspire each other and collaborate a lot. We video chat a lot and shoot ideas off of each other constantly.
Does he have Spotify?
I'm not sure. I think so.
He should get this free version so he can
I think
listen
so,
to it and
yeah.
share it in New Zealand. I only have just a couple people from New Zealand.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm going to blast this podcast out now. But yeah, that's my friend Greg. And I think like that's one of the pieces that I wrote for him. There's a
Oh,
couple of people that get multiple pieces.
okay.
Like when
Do
they're
you,
feeling down or feeling awkward or feeling whatever, I'll write a piece for them.
and so do you name them? Like, do you tell them? Or
I
is
do
it,
tell them.
yeah.
And I tag them in it and I tell them.
Oh,
I'm
well, you
like,
need to write
hey,
one for me. You
and
need to
that
write
could
one for
happen.
me.
I think just given time, it will eventually happen for everyone,
Yeah, that's so cool.
but it has to sit in here and it has to come out. But there are some people who in the moment, like, I'm like, okay, I need to, this message needs to get out to them
Uh-huh.
immediately, kind of a thing. Like, this is an emergency poem.
Oh, that's so
I have to
cool.
send that dispatch out immediately. And that was one of them.
I have always wanted to write one book on my entire life, knowing that all the things I had in it, somebody else could get something out of it. And then all of a sudden I decided, you know what, people would not believe that I had this many things in my life. But I guess they do, because I read books like that, like some of the authors that I follow on Facebook and or on Instagram on
Yeah.
posts, and I actually interview them.
Yeah, the people have a lot going on, like people are deep and have such nuances to everything.
Mhm. I don't know, but I don't. I'm got to find, I think, one spot that I can retire to, that's what I want to do, to retire and do this, because I could never retire and just sit.
Yeah.
And I could do traveling for a year or two, but then I'd be done. You know, I'm not that kind of a person to sit and do nothing.
Yeah, I get that.
Don't take me wrong. Like, I like to do that once in a while, and I need to do that once in a while. I know I need to, and then I do it when I need to. But I could not retire and just do that.
That would drive me nuts, I think.
Yeah. So this is what I feel in my heart that I want to keep finding people that can give messages out to others that and those other people can get something out of it, some kind of healing or some kind of affirmation that they're okay too. They're not broken, all the different things, which is why
Everybody's story is important, and everybody's story that's told, somebody can get something out of. You
they
know,
should be able to.
it's I think just telling your story, it will reach the person who needs it. Somebody who needs it will connect with it. That's what I feel.
I'm reading.
I think we just need to keep sharing our stories, and that's what my words are. It's my story, but put into poem.
So tell me about, we will never fully understand all of the magic that we are.
We are so magic, and we're never in our lifetime, there is not the time to grasp all of that. There isn't. Whether you go the scientific route to try to break down every particle and molecule to understand what we're made of,
Mhm.
or if you go poetry, philosophical, nature, spiritual route, there's still not enough time to understand that we are so much. We are so much magic. But there isn't enough, no matter what route we go down, we're never going to understand how big and beautiful it is and how big and beautiful we are.
That's great. I love that. And that to me would be very hard. I don't think that we would ever fully understand all
We
of it.
can't. And so I'm like scrambling to write it all out, to like, this is my observation today, and this is my observation
Right.
today.
And it's going to
like,
change.
And it does change, and it changes with the weather, it changes
Right.
with the season, it changes with mood, it changes with, and we're never going to grasp it all. But just to know that we're part of it. Like, I want people to get it, to like stop the outside shit and like understand what we are. We are so fucking magical. Stop and understand that.
Right. Right.
Like, stop to fully get it. Like, take a moment to get it.
And at some point, you're going to have to actually say those actual words.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
So where is, I know Door County, but where do you get your most inspiration, like to a spot, a certain spot that you can sit down, or how, I don't know, do you sit on and work on a laptop, or do you do it by hand on paper?
No, I wander and I take notes. Like, I have my phone with note. Like,
yeah.
So I will just be wandering.
Okay.
Like, the woods, my farm here, it's 20 acres. So it's ideal. Like, I would never have to go anywhere else.
Okay.
To
You have a
be
creek?
inspired. The creek, the Lily Bay Creek, is right down the street. I drive past it every day. It does run underneath the farm and then down the road again.
Do you walk the creek?
I can hear it pop and crack in the winter when it moves and freezes. And so the deck
Really?
pops and cracks. And then I can hear the frogs and the cranes go flying to it. And the coyote yesterday morning went, to it. So
Yeah, tell me about the coyote. You like coyotes?
I love them. They're here. I go out and I listen to nature every night, whether it's the owls or the 6 packs of coyotes coming from each different direction, or, or just staring up at the sky. I stare up at the sky every night more than once.
Do you have a spot? Like, do you go outside and there's a certain spot?
No, it's wherever I go, and I wander to wherever, whatever calls.
But outside.
It's not a particular spot.
Huh.
Whatever is
You have
calling me.
spots.
So if the owls are calling me from this way, I'll start walking this way. and then look up at the sky and look up at the suns, and Door County has the most beautiful skies.
Yeah.
Like beyond
Hmm.
the sunset, but then also I call it the reverse sunset.
Hmm.
It's just as magical.
Now, see, I have in my backyard, I have my own pond that, to begin with, it's old now, but to begin with, myself and my older son dug and created.
Okay.
And I got some kois that people were giving away because they multiply a lot, really fast. And then I love water. I love water, and I love to fish. I love to do all the nature things, all of them.
Good, good.
My favorite thing in the world is to walk everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just and I like doing it by myself too, because that's when I do my best thinking. If I'm with
Yeah.
somebody, I'm going to talk, and well, and that's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying
No, but you have to have both.
yeah.
You
And
have
that's
to
what
have your time with nature,
and that's what I'm
separate.
saying. So, and sometimes I have to drive, like have you ever heard of Starved Rock in Illinois?
Tell me that again.
Have you ever heard of Starved Rock
I don't think so.
in Illinois? Um, it's, I don't know, it's probably 40 minutes southwest of Chicago. But it's where these an Indian tribe settled, and then another Indian tribe tried to come in and take over. And anyway, so there's these beautiful canyons with waterfalls, but they've made trails all through all of this, and then there's certain spots where it's got history, where
Okay.
things happened. It's a 20-mile hike one way. So, and most of people don't do the whole thing. And
Yeah.
so I take different days. And I call to see if the waterfalls have water going. So not too well, this year was the first time I ever got to the very end, but
Okay.
because I heard there was a huge canyon and huge waterfall. And I'm like, I've got to see that. And
Yeah.
there's no way that you could walk the 20 miles to get there and 20 miles back in a day. And there's no
Yeah.
place to stay in between. I mean, the park closes at 10 at night.
Yeah.
So even if you start, at 10 in the morning, you're not going to get 40 miles of walking up and down hills and canyons and all that stuff done. So I called first, and then I said, so is there a way for me to just get to that last one? Because it's the only one I've never been to without going through the whole. And they said, yeah, you can, there's actually a road that you can go. You're still going to have to walk to get to it, but not 20 miles.
Yeah.
And so I think, because I had a Fitbit watch on, which tracks my steps, and my miles. So anyway, I found the most beautiful canyon and waterfall. And I ended up, well, I took my girlfriend with me, and she's my best person to go with. Like, she loves doing what I do. And she's like me, like, we don't have to talk.
Yeah.
We take our lunch with us, and we might, then when we stop and we eat lunch, we'll talk or something, but we just like looking and filling ourselves with all the nature around us as we're walking.
Yes.
Just the different colors, all the different insects and animals and everything that come out in those woods. I love it. So we get to this canyon. It's kind of funny. It's like really, really high and straight down. And this is where the first tribe would go to hide. You couldn't be seen. So you have to walk really high up to get to it, but then you have to walk really far down and carefully, because there's not really a trail. You have to, I mean, there is, but there's nothing to hold on to. You have to find stuff to hold on to get down there. And then you get down there and you look up, and there's just all beautiful rocks, and and stuff, and the waterfall was just, it was gorgeous. But so I'm having to like go sideways and myself up against the rocks to get to where we could go down. And my girlfriend was in front of me, and she's like, oh my gosh, there's a snake here. And it was on the wall. And I said, oh, I can take care of that. She was like scared. I'm like, I can take care of that. You'll be proud of me. All I did was get a stick, and I got him on the stick, and I moved him out of our way. I didn't kill
Awesome.
him because he wasn't going to harm me.
He's not interested, you
No,
know.
no. See, I've told you, like, I'm not a killer of nature, but by nature, I'm not a killer of nature.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
It could be a thing.
Okay, well, I think I just made it into one.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the funny part there, because she just like could not believe it. And I'm like, that thing wasn't going to hurt us. It wasn't going to bite us. It was,
Yeah.
you know what? It's damp there. And it was shady, and it was actually sliding down. It was trying to get up this rock in between the rock and another one is what it was trying to do. And it kept sliding back down. And I'm like, look, it's not coming after us. It's trying to get up and get in a cool spot.
Yeah.
So anyway, Starved Rock, if you ever get a chance,
All right, I'll put that on my
that
list.
would be a nature place to be able to think and put in your notes. And I never thought of that, of writing. I take a lot of pictures, a lot.
Yeah, I used to be more pictures, but now it's just like I'll have a phrase or a few words,
Mhm.
and that's all I need for the next piece is the few words that come to me is like the photo I need.
Mhm.
And then I'll just put that away.
I
And
wish I
just,
had that.
then I know that it brings me back to all of it by, a sentence.
I'll have to send you a picture sometime and ask you to write something about that picture for me, because I get the neatest pictures.
I love, and I totally appreciate, like, I have friends who they're great photographers, and I'm like, you're really good at this. And they're like, but you're really good at this. And I'm like, but it doesn't mean that your thing is not great, because your thing is inspiring me,
Mhm.
And same with like painters. I have, friends. I connected with a friend who was a painter, and like just the whole inspiring each other and connecting. It's beautiful where that goes.
And one of the things I look for, and I like to do it by myself, and nobody takes offense to it when I say, hey, I'm going to go for a walk. I just, need to be by myself and think. And I think I do my best thinking when I'm walking. Some
Yeah.
people run to do that, and they get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
I used to be a runner, but then my knees started swelling.
Yeah.
And my doctor said running is the worst thing you can do, anybody can do for your body. You can walk fast and get the same thing that you're getting out of running fast, except you're not going to have to replace your knees. So I quit, and she was right. I mean, I picked harder places. So, I had more uphills and downhills. So, I got more out of it
Yes.
as far as the exercise. But that had nothing to do when I just want to think and clear my mind or solve a problem, whatever that is. That's when I need to just walk, and I just need to hear the sounds of nature.
It's so helpful. Like that can solve anything.
So this pond that I dug and we filled, then one time we were fishing, and it happened to be this lake that it was private, and people lived on it, but it was private.
Okay.
And they had it all full of beautiful water. It was so full that you couldn't even, like, you got your hook caught every time you threw it,
Yeah.
So it really wasn't a good place to fish, even though it was full of fish, because you got caught all the time. But
Yeah.
so anyway, I'm like, you know what? I think I want a couple lilies for my pond. And the fish would love that, because it would give them some shade, in the middle of the hot day in the summer. And so I took 2 plants, just 2. Oh my gosh. Like within 2 years, it covered, and I didn't know they multiply and multiply and multiply. So then I got frogs or toads.
Okay.
I love when I know when spring's hitting, when I start hearing the sound of my toads. But I have one in particular that has been there 15 years now. So I learned that when it starts getting cold in the winter, they dig a hole in the tunnel and they go dormant. I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that that was the same one for a while, but
Yeah.
I
They can live,
learned his sound.
and they can live to be very old, like between 15 and 30 years, some of them.
Yeah, well, he's over 15,
And
but
there's
he's
one
about this
here.
big now.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's one here that he's got his routine and he comes around and he's consistent and we know who he is. And his name is Bertrude.
Oh, he was
And
named him. That's cool.
he's got a name and his friend looks different and his friend comes from a different direction. So like he's like they have their routine and we know, and he's old and big and
See, I didn't know they got that big, and because I never got to
yes,
see him, I always heard him.
yes,
And I guess I don't know the females from the males. I know he must be the male and the only male. I don't know. I haven't studied up on them to know, like, is there only one male that sticks around and
like
does,
that. I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know. But I know that after 6 weeks of spring, that all of a sudden I have millions of tiny little toads jumping when we go to mow.
Yeah,
And you can see the
yeah,
eggs all over. So
yeah.
somehow a female gets there,
They're
right?
there.
It does take 2 of them.
They're
It
there.
does take a male and a female to do that. But I've never, he's the only one that I've seen. And I just got to see him in the last couple of years. I never did see him. I only heard him. And
Okay.
my dog actually, it was at night. And I had they're called glow rocks. And they're little pebbles, but I put them in the landscaping that was right around the waterfall that goes into the pond. And they glow at night. It's
Okay.
beautiful. And my dog likes to go over and see what's up over there. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. She woke me up to go out. And I think it's because I had the window open and she could hear.
Oh yeah.
And so she knew there was something out there. But so she goes running out, and so I was tired of standing there waiting for her to come in. I wanted to go back to bed, so I go to look for her. I mean, like to her to go, come on, let's go back in.
Yeah.
And I get there, and she's staring down this huge toad. He was huge, and he wasn't moving. He wasn't speaking, yelling,
Okay.
nothing. He was just staring. And my dog's only 9 pounds. And she was staring back, like this.
Yes.
I think she was waiting for it to move. But I finally got to see it. And when I got my phone, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back in the house. I'm going to get my phone and I'm going to see if I can get a picture of this. And when I got back, it was gone. So I didn't get to take a picture of it, but I hear him. I
Yeah.
hear him every spring. And I just love the sound of it.
I do too.
But the problem with him is that he got so big that he went through the liner of my pond. So this year I have a new pond. We had to take everything out, and I found the big hole. I don't know where he went, and I don't know if he'll be back.
We'll find out.
I know, but that made me sad.
I know, but you'll find out. You'll just,
It made me
he,
sad.
he may,
He's gone. I hope that he
he
remembers.
may be back.
My son says he hears him across the street. Not now, but
But yes,
during the summer he
that's
heard him
possible.
after we lost him. So at least I like to think that he's still living.
That he's okay and just
Yeah, yeah. because
Yeah.
yeah, but I want him, whatever ones are coming around, I need to hear that sound because that's when I know that spring's here.
Absolutely.
So, okay. I think, is there any more I need to cover?
I don't think so. I think we're
We've done
good.
our
Yeah.
time. Have we done our
Yeah,
time?
people just need to read the book.
They need to read the book and we
They
need to
need to
get
read
that
the
out
book
there.
and
So
they'll
it's
they'll
called,
understand, they'll have an understanding of human nature and Door County. Like, you know,
I think so. They need to visit it. They need to go to the resort that I'm going to go to in the summer.
okay. Yeah, and there's places in here that in the book that I have people asking like, is it the church over here? Or and I'm like, no, it's this church over here. Like, so people are wanting to come and visit the places that are in the book too.
Yeah.
So that's another like thing that people can come and do.
Do you know what place I'm talking about? It's the F and something house. Starts with
Yes,
an
I
E.
do. Yes, the Ephraim
Is that in
House.
the book?
That is not in the book, but they
Oh,
have a copy there, a hardcover copy. And so yeah, we're getting to know each other.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me know when you come up.
Oh, I will. I will.
We can hang out.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. Okay, so everybody knows, again, the book's called Sounds Unheard, Songs of Home.
Copy
And
that.
there's a copy. If you guys watch this on YouTube, he's holding it up, showing you. And I think I showed it at
And
the
it's
beginning.
available worldwide on Amazon.
Yes, on Amazon, and it's by Joseph M. Lopez.
Yes, and follow me on Instagram as well.
And you want to give them that? I'm going to
It's
put it in the notes, but
okay, it's JL Writer.
J.L. Writer. How come you didn't put that as your author name?
I
I like that.
don't know.
Okay, what's the L for? Is it Joseph Loves Writing?
Lopez.
Ouch.
Just the
Hello.
Lopez.
Okay, I can be a
It's
ditz.
simple.
You now know this.
Just not nothing complicated.
Okay, well, now you know I can be a ditz. That never crossed my mind because I'm looking at at how it is on the book, and your middle initial is M.
I wanted to include the M. I wanted to honor that.
So that's why I missed the JL Writer.
Yeah, and the two I just wanted to use my real name and then an Instagram name separate.
Which is fine. I mean, like nobody would really know by my Instagram name who I am,
Yeah.
except I've got my name in the bio, but I have to tell people.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
do you know why I'm called that even? Why I came up with that?
Tell me.
Well, because I help people win their struggles.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
It is. It's like most of it is self-explanatory.
Most of it is, yeah. Some people just don't have a clue. They just pick out a name.
Rather not.
I know, right? But mine is, so I am at struggle_winner because somebody already took my one word of struggle winner. And then my email. So I am looking for people with different life struggles. There's a few that I haven't found yet that I'd really like to interview. But before we say goodbye to everybody, can you tell me what is your biggest life struggle?
My biggest life struggle?
I didn't prepare you, did I?
No. It was finding myself again. It was
And
getting lost and finding myself. It was lost. I was lost through addiction. And I had to find myself again.
so your biggest life struggle was being lost, and you conquered that actually by writing.
By writing, yes.
Yeah. And that's what I'm about, is that's who I try to find, is somebody that has a life struggle and then how they conquered it, because there's always somebody out there that has had that life struggle and didn't know how to conquer it or hasn't conquered it yet. And so that's
Yeah.
what we're here for. So
Yeah.
hopefully your writing is going to help people too.
I hope so. I hope I hope it reaches who it needs to reach, and I think it
Yeah.
will.
And I can tell you, with just the amount of time that I've had to read some of them, that's going to be like kind of my go-to, so I need you to keep writing. Okay.
I will absolutely, I promise.
All right. Well,
I
thank you so
promise.
much. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank
I'll
you.
see you on Instagram.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.